Court TV Live, I'm Ashley Wilcott. Thank you so much for being with us. Now let's turn to New Jersey, where actor Gary Busey is back in court today. He is accused of inappropriately touching 3 women during the annual Monster-Mania convention. The women claim he touched them during photo shoots. Busey does deny those allegations. There he is. There's a picture of him. We want to go back into court now for the very start of that hearing.
And how many counts was in that indictment, Mr.
It was a 5-count indictment, Your Honor.
So he's pleading guilty to count 1, so the remaining
Count 1.
counts 2 through 5 are being dismissed, right?
Those will be dismissed at sentencing, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's a term of probation, fines, no contact with, what are the initials for that person in count 1?
Your Honor, the victim, hold on one second, Judge. The anticipated conditions are really that the defendant have no contact with any of the victims.
If any of the named.
Correct, Your Honor. Any of the named victims in the indictment. If Your Honor wants, I can put the initials on the record.
Can you do that, please?
Sure.
I think that would be better.
Yes, Judge. Count 1, victim being AD.
Okay.
Count 2 is JE. Count 3 is MH. Count 4 is BB. And count 5, victim's initials are MS. The defendant would agree to have no contact with any of those named victims as part of the plea agreement.
Okay. Counsel, those terms as stated, Mr. Zwillman, is that correct?
Judge, we agree to the no contact, but I disagree with most respectfully for identifying the individuals in counts 2 through 5 as victims, since those cases are being dismissed. But it's just a technical matter. I don't think they remain victims if they're being dismissed.
Well, that's not unusual when there's resolutions and there's more than one named in an indictment. That's not unusual that the state is asking for the terms to be conditions, and I can't control the conditions, that there's no contact with anyone named in any counts. So what do you want to do with that?
We agree to that, Judge. I just don't want the record to reveal that he's pled guilty to anything other than count 1.
It's not going to, why would it do that? Why would it?
Well,
It wouldn't.
because the term victim is still being used for counts 2 through 5. No, not a problem, Judge.
Now, Mr. Busey, we're in a courtroom, although we are Zoom. You can't eat or drink in my courtroom, although we are on Zoom. You're before a judge. And when you're before a judge, you act accordingly. No eating and no drinking in my presence. You understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Now, Mr. Zwillman, those terms are stated by the prosecutor. It sounds like you are reserving your right to make what's called the Warren argument regarding the probationary agreement that's going to be entered. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Now, the other terms as stated by the prosecutor, are they correct regarding this colloquy, this guilty plea?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Busey, please state your name and raise your right hand for me.
State your name. State your name.
State your name, sir.
My name is William Gary Busey, B-U-S-E-Y.
Okay, do you, sir, swear or affirm any testimony you give the court shall be the truth?
What? I'm sorry?
Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give the court shall be the truth?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I confirm that.
Okay. Now, it is my understanding you wish to plead guilty to a 4th-degree sexual contact, criminal sexual contact. Is that correct?
Am I pleading guilty?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
I am?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not how it works. Listen to me, Mr. Busey.
Huh?
Did you talk to your attorney about how you want to handle your case today?
Yes.
Yes.
But I don't want you to say yes, and I don't want anyone to tell you what to say. You need to say it on your own, sir.
Yes.
Okay, now, do you wear some type of hearing assistance,
Yes.
Mr. Busey? Okay, do you have it on now? Okay, do you have it up loud enough so you can hear? Are you
I
able
have
to-
it up as loud as it'll go.
Okay. Now, this is my question. Do you wish to plead guilty to a criminal sexual contact today?
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if there's something else that we could do that allow Mr. Busey to hear a little better. Are you having a hard time hearing altogether, Mr. Busey? Are you hearing me some?
Yes, I have hearing aids and they are working, but they only go so high.
I understand. And are you still having some trouble hearing me,
No,
even with your hearing aid on?
no, I don't. I hear you fine.
Okay. So my question is again is, do you wish to plead guilty to a fourth-degree charge of criminal sexual contact? Yes or no?
Yes,
Now, before you decided to plead guilty to that charge, did you review that charge with your attorney?
yes,
Did you have a chance to read the police reports with your attorney?
yes,
Has your attorney answered all questions that you've had?
yes,
Are you satisfied with the advice he has given you?
yes,
Have you had enough time to meet with your attorney?
yes,
Now, this is my understanding of the plea agreement. It is my understanding you will be pleading guilty to count one of the indictment. Count one charges you with fourth-degree criminal sexual contact. On your sentence date, the state is recommending I sentence you to a term of probation. Could you hear all of that?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and do
Yes,
you
Judge.
understand? Okay, you understand?
Yeah,
Okay, now probation will be anywhere between 1 to 5 years. The length of probation and condition of probation will be set by me in my discretion. Do you understand that?
yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Your fines will be
Well, we had understood this would be a pre-trial hearing. It's now turning into a guilty plea. I'll tell you, I think that the judge may have almost called it off when Gary Busey initially said no and then talked to somebody and said, yes, he's entering a guilty plea. We're going to pause it there, and we'll get you back inside the Zoom courtroom when we come back here on Court TV.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, jurors are weighing the evidence against two parents accused of trying to kill their daughter. We're diving deeper into key evidence as deliberations continue.
Closing Arguments, tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
Saturday nights on ION.
Is our night.
Let's go! Double headers every Saturday at 7 and 10 p.m. Eastern. The new Saturday Night Out is on ION all season long.
Staying now on the latest with the charges of sexual misconduct for actor Gary Busey. The alleged incidents took place at the annual Monster-Mania convention, and the women claim he touched them during photo shoots. There were 3 different women who claim that, and he's in court via Zoom. And we found out as we're watching with you that he agreed to plead guilty to 1 fourth-degree criminal sexual contact count. Let's go back in and see what else happens. We paused it where we left off.
$75 safe neighborhood, $33 court costs. You can have no contact with anybody named in those police reports. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Now, your attorney is going to make an argument to ask the court to give you fines only. That's an argument that's an argument that he has a right to make. It'll be my decision if I grant that argument. Do you understand?
yes, ma'am. I do. Thank you.
Now, all of the other counts in that indictment, it was 5 counts you were charged with in that complaint. It's 5 counts. You're pleading guilty to the 1 count, and all the rest are being dismissed. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Judge.
Okay, now by pleading guilty to that charge, you have to tell me the facts to make you guilty of that charge. Can you do that?
Yes,
Okay. Also, by pleading guilty, you waive certain rights, which includes the following. By pleading guilty, you waive the presumption of innocence and a right to a jury trial. Could you hear that?
yes,
Also, by pleading guilty, you waive the right to have the state to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Judge.
Also, by pleading guilty, you waive the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Judge. Sorry.
That's okay. It's fine, sir. Also, by pleading guilty, you waive your right to present any witnesses on your behalf. Do you understand?
Yes.
And you also waive your right to present a defense. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing all of that, do you want to continue with your plea of guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you fully satisfied with the legal advice and services of your attorney?
Yes. Yes, very much.
Okay. Are you pleading guilty voluntarily on your own free will?
Yes, voluntarily.
Has anyone threatened you or forced you to plead guilty?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am. No, Judge. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. And all of these questions are being asked to make sure the record protects you, Mr. Busey. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Now, are you, sir, under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or any medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening today?
No, ma'am. Not at all.
Do you take any type of prescription medication?
No.
Are you satisfied with the investigation your attorney has conducted on your behalf?
Yes, yes, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. And are you pleading guilty today because you're guilty of a 4th-degree criminal sexual contact charge? Is that why you're pleading guilty? Are you guilty
Yes,
of
ma'am.
it?
Yes, yes. Affirmative.
Now, did your attorney review with you a 6-page plea form in this matter?
Yes.
Did he read each question to you on all 6 pages?
What?
Did he read that plea form to you, all 6 pages?
No, I read it myself, but he sent it to me.
Okay, but did your attorney review it with you? Besides you reading it, did he review it with you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you provide him an answer to each of those questions on that plea form?
Yes, yes.
If I was to take that same plea form and read each question to you, would all of your answers be the same that you gave your attorney?
Yes.
After your attorney reviewed that document with you, did you write your own initials at the bottom of all 6 pages?
Yes, ma'am. And I wrote my full name signature at the end of the 6th page.
Okay, thank you. And that was my next question. Did you sign it? And you did sign that document, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, are you currently on any type of probation or parole?
No, not at all.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, ma'am. For 81 years, I've been a citizen of the United States. Proud of it.
Okay. And can you read and understand the English language?
So far, yeah.
Okay. Tell me how far you went in school, sir. What is your education?
All the way through college. Senior year at Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Okay. Now, in reference to questions, do you have any questions for me, sir, right now?
No.
Okay. Let's do a factual basis, counsel.
What was that?
Your attorney's going to put your
Busey,
attorney's.
I'm gonna
Hold
direct-
on for a moment, Mrs. Willman. Your attorney's going to ask you some questions for a factual basis for the charge you're pleading guilty to, okay?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Still with us, criminal defense attorney Ryan Brown. He was laughing. Busey seems okay with this whole thing, but I feel like I also hear somebody behind him speaking in his ear to say how to answer.
Yeah, it sounds to me like there's somebody in the room with him, you know, kind of helping him through questions, which may or may not be a big deal, right? It's not uncommon for a client to look at you when you're doing a plea in person. Hey, I don't understand this question or anything like that. But it sounds like somebody might just be feeding the answers, which is something that a lot of judges may balk at.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Some judges would say, you come back another day once you get this under control, and I know you're the one making the decision. But let's talk about the reality. We thought this would be a pretrial hearing. And Ryan, how often or how does it happen that all of a sudden it turns into a guilty plea? And do you think, we don't know what the sentence is yet, do you think they've worked out an agreement for that to propose to the judge if he's going to offer this plea?
Yeah, so, you know, trials are way more fun to talk about, but a lot of times most criminal cases do resolve short in a plea like this, and it's not uncommon. Maybe the lawyers from both sides prepared to go into a motions hearing today. They get together before court. They're able to come to an agreement. We don't know if there's an agreement yet or not. My guess is there would be one, probably a fine and maybe some sort of probation and counseling or an apology or something like that. But my guess is they were able to reach some agreement that Mr. Busey's counsel were okay with, that the state of New Jersey was okay with, and that we're going to see a negotiated plea here shortly.
Especially considering he's 81 years old. We know this is in New Jersey because this is where it occurred, the Monster-Mania, which we didn't know, but I just want to mention for those viewers who may not know, I thought it was monster trucks. I was wrong. But instead, it is an event of horror films where they have memorabilia and they have guests there. And that's the reason I would assume that this is actually being held in a New Jersey courtroom.
That's right. It sounds like this event or get together is there. You know, I imagine some of the conditions of this sentence will be he may not be allowed to go back to Monster-Mania, definitely not around any of the victims. And even though he's only pleading guilty to one of the counts, probably won't be able to have contact with any of the folks that were listed as a victim in the original indictment.
Oh, Ryan Brown, thank you so much for all your great expertise being here in person. Coming up, we're going to have more for the hearing for actor Gary Busey. Plus, we're still on a verdict watch in Washington. Stay with us. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Ashley Wilcott. We begin this hour in Washington State, where a jury has been deliberating now. You can see on your clock 17 hours and 42 minutes in the attempted murder trial for Ihsan and Zara Ali. Both the parents are accused of trying to choke their 17-year-old daughter to death after she'd run away from home ahead of a months-long trip planned to Iraq. Joining us live now in studio with all the latest is our own Court TV legal correspondent Kelly Craft. Kelly, always great to be on with you. Tell me, what is the latest from the jury in this case?
Well, good afternoon to you, Judge Ashley. So day 3 of deliberations. Jurors have asked 2 questions so far. Earlier this morning, they came back with their second question. So here's what they were asking. As it applied to the jury instruction 46, is the violation of the protection order for Isaiah or for the building? So that seems to be what's kind of holding them up a bit. They wanted to get some clarification on that. The judge told them to reread the jury instructions, so that's what he instructed them to do, which is exactly the same answer the judge gave for the jury's first question that came yesterday.
Legal authority wasn't defined for count 3, instruction 34. What is the definition of legal authority? Signed by the presiding juror. My proposed answer is please refer to and reread the jury instructions. Ms. Stone, any objection to that response?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Kading?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Leary?
Objection.
I believe that this is the answer that Mr. Leary told the jury that they might receive if they had a question.
A look at that video. This is something both the prosecution and the defense really focused on in their closing arguments. Defense counsel saying this all comes down to 53 seconds. And the way he is talking about this video, he says, take a look at it. See that Isaiah, Fatima's boyfriend, punches Mr. Ali first. And then defense counsel is arguing, Mr. Ali is confused. He's on the ground. He feels that a mob is attacking him. He just wanted to come and take his daughter home, and his daughter didn't want to go. So he's saying there's no intent here. These charges shouldn't have even been brought. That was his argument in his closing. So again, the juror's been out now. The jury has been out now for nearly 18 hours, Judge Ashley. We are continuing to monitor this, and as soon as there is any movement inside that courtroom, we would be sure to bring you any developments.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much to Kelly Craft. Now, let's head back to New Jersey, where actor Gary Busey is back in court today. This is a Zoom hearing, and it turns out he has pled guilty to 1 count of sexual criminal contact after he inappropriately touched a woman at a convention. Let's go back in for more of the hearing.
Mr. Busey, I'm going to direct your attention to the date of August 13th, 2022. Okay?
Yeah?
All right. Were you in Cherry Hill, New Jersey on that date?
Yes. Affirmative, yes.
And were you attending something that's been identified as a Monster-Mania convention or function?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Was there a photo shoot set up where fans of Gary Busey, William Gary Busey, could have a photograph taken with you?
Yes. Yes.
And during that session, you agree, do you not? You do agree that you inappropriately touched the buttocks of an adult female over her clothing. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you understand now, and you knew then, that that was not appropriate. It was wrong, correct?
Yes, very much so. Immediately, yes.
And you want Judge Blue to accept your acknowledgement of this particular incident. Is that right?
Yes, sir. It is the truth.
I have nothing else, Judge.
Is this satisfactory to the state?
Just that we identified the female victim by the initials AD. Would it be fair to say that you later learned that that victim had those initials?
Mr. Busey, the victim is identified with the initials of AD that you said you touched the buttocks of. Do you agree with that, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Keith, I don't have the indictment in front of me. There's no gratification or anything. This is a touching, right?
Well,
I'm looking
Your
at the
Honor,
indictment.
I think that is under the statute part of the purpose of the touching. So if counsel could address that specifically, that would be helpful as well.
Mrs. Willman, you need to fill. Mrs. Willman, you need to fill in the record more as to what his purpose was when he touched her buttocks. That's what I thought. I don't have the indictment in front of me, but there's something missing from the factual.
All right. I just wanted to indicate also, Judge, that the actual victim's name is in the indictment. We're not using that for this purpose today.
No, we use the initials. That's what we use, the initials.
Mr. Busey, I just want to ask you that you understand that it's only a violation of the law that you could plead guilty to if you intended to gratify yourself by committing that act. I've told you that, correct?
Correct what?
The touching of the buttocks was done for your gratification.
No, I was looking, my eyes were on the camera lens. I moved my hands up and grazed her buttocks without thinking and without looking.
That's not a factual basis. That's not a guilty plea.
What?
Mr. Busey, I've advised you, and we agreed earlier, that in order to plead guilty, you have to truthfully acknowledge.
I truthfully acknowledge
that you did this for your own gratification as opposed to any request by AD. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
So this was not an accidental touching. You purposely touched her. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, and you did it for your own self-gratification. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the state?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Busey, do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're going to have a criminal record?
Yes.
Do you also understand you have to submit a DNA sample?
What? What?
A DNA sample. Whenever you're arrested, you have to give a DNA sample, which is a swabbing of your mouth. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. On the charge of fourth-degree criminal sexual contact, how do you plead? Not guilty. What is this, sir?
Guilty.
Okay, sir, I find, based on your statements under oath, I find your guilty plea is known and voluntary. It's a factual basis for your guilty plea. Your guilty plea is accepted. Your sentencing, counsel, you're asking that he does it, that he could do a sentencing by Zoom, correct?
Yes, please, Judge.
Okay, your sentencing will be October 3rd by Zoom.
Judge,
June?
October 3rd.
No, October 3rd. Well,
Oh, okay. Gotcha. 5-3.
Judge,
10-3.
I'll have to discuss it with my client. I do have a very serious surgery scheduled for September 22nd.
I can do it before then. I can do it before that. I can sentence him. I can definitely do it before that.
Okay.
I will make it September. You want to do it? Let's do it on an off day. We could do September the 18th on a Thursday instead of my big Friday sentence day, okay?
Let me
Yes.
just check, Judge. Thanks.
You get that?
Yep. I'll tell you your date in one moment, sir. Joey, you called for someone to do his interview?
What?
No,
Yes, Judge.
not you, sir. One moment, Mr. Busey.
Judge, what time would that be?
We could do it at 9 o'clock on September the 18th. I said that's on a Thursday.
I have another. I don't know. I don't want to mess up the court schedule. I have something at 9. It's a lower court, but it's an old DWI case. Can we do this later in the morning?
Why do I have to wait for a lower court? I don't understand.
You don't.
Oh, why don't we do this, counsel?
As a matter of fact, I have no problem saying that Judge Blue told me I got to be there at 9.
What court would you have to be in on the 18th?
That would be Parsippany Troy Hills, but
okay, why don't we do? I can do it this because I'm doing a sentence on September the 11th. How about the 25th? Are you available on the? Well, that's close to your surgery. How about the 23rd? That's on a Tuesday, September the 23rd.
Oh, I'll be in the hospital.
Oh, that's that week you go in.
Yeah, but
Because this sentence is fast. Why don't we do this at 9? And it's going to be by Zoom, so you could be wherever you are. It's going to be by Zoom, right?
All right. Well, then we can do. I'll work it out with the lower court, who will, I'm sure, be subservient and acknowledge Your Honor's position. So
they may not, but you'll have.
You know what?
You'll have.
That's their problem, right, Judge?
Right. That's right. Because you'll have to come. You can't be in two places at one time.
No. And I'd
This
rather be with Mr. Busey here. So if I had
And
a
this
preference.
sentence will be really fast. It takes, 15 minutes to do a sentence, so it won't be long. Okay, Mr.
What
Boots.
date is that, Judge?
September the 18th. That's on a Thursday. Write it down, Mr. Busey. September the 18th at 9 o'clock a.m.
9:18, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and it's gonna be where you are. You're gonna be able to come by Zoom the way you're doing it now, okay, for your sentence.
Yes, ma'am. Affirmative.
Now, I did make my record. I do find, as I said, that you've not only voluntarily entered your guilty plea, your guilty plea is accepted, and that will be your sentence date of September 18th at 9 o'clock. The next step today, Mr. Busey, is someone is going to come on the screen, a probation officer. They need to do what's called an interview with you to prepare a pre-sentence report. So you need to stay on the screen until we tell you that you can step off, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Affirmative.
All right.
Judge, I'd like to stay with him on that.
Absolutely. Okay, you're going to go in the breakout room when that probation officer come on. Do we know who's doing it, Joey?
I don't yet. I'm going to reach out and make sure right now.
Because I need to rest my back.
You need to step away for a moment. You can, Mr. Busey, but just come back on, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Judge, is your trial over?
No. Will Mr. Brennan and Mr. Stas. Who was asking about the trial? I'm sorry, who was that?
I asked, Mr. Swin.
Oh, no, it is. They came back with a verdict today, so it's over. Yes. Are the attorneys back on, Mr. Stas and Mr. Brennan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where's Mr. Stas? Is he on?
Yes.
Put me in the breakout room with these two attorneys, Mr. Brennan and Mr. Stas, please.
Your Honor, may we be excused on the Busey matter?
Yes.
Thank
And
you,
Mr.
Judge.
Busey's going to stay on, and Mr. Swillman is going to stay on so he can be with his client for the interview.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, excuse me. All right, that's over. I want to bring in National Trial Attorney Madeline Somerville to help break this all down. Madeline, it was an interesting Zoom hearing at best. We could hear what I believe to be in the background behind the defendant, Busey, someone telling him what to answer. At first, he had said, no, I'm not pleading guilty, and his attorney got him through that. And then he said, no, I didn't have any intent to gratify myself. That's an element of the crime. The attorney said, remember, we went through this. You have to agree to that if you're going to do a guilty plea. What are your thoughts at the end of the day as to the fact, yes, the guilty plea was accepted?
Well, thank you so much, Judge Ashley, for having me on. I'm always so happy to see you. So this is always a difficult situation, and I'm sure that it's not this judge's first rodeo. What we saw here was Mr. Busey, and I always thought it was pronounced Busey, so I'm glad I have it correct now, kind of trying to walk things back. My guess is that he was embarrassed, and it's quite often the case that you have a conversation with your client, and then when it's time to stand up and do the thing that you had actually prepared for, that the client gets nervous. It's difficult to admit that you touched someone for the purposes of gratifying yourself. And so if he was going to concoct some story, right, like we heard him say, it was something like, I raised my hand and I accidentally touched the back of her. It's quite embarrassing, and it's difficult. And so I don't think the judge held that against him. But again, this obviously wasn't her first rodeo, and so she was patient with him.
And you're right, Madeline, you and I have both had cases, represented clients, where you can go over and over and over what they decide to do to explain it all, and you get in court and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened to my client? That's not the same person I talked to, because they're not remembering anything I've told them. So that is not uncommon at all. What about this, though? As soon as the guilty plea was accepted as knowing and voluntary by the court, she then said, number one, you're going to have a permanent record. That's probably not a surprise. Number two, you have to give a DNA sample all prior to the sentencing, which is scheduled for September 18th.
Mm-hmm. So I think he was a little bit, to use a colloquialism, freaked out when she said something about a DNA sample, right? We were already down the I'm embarrassed path, and now he feels like a criminal. And you're hoping that he's processing all of this, because he's obviously in pain. I don't know why we're all on Zoom. I don't know if they provided that information. I don't know if he's sick, but you're hoping that he's entered into this plea freely and voluntarily, because if he didn't, then there's some recourse for him available in the future if he wanted to change his mind as to how he wanted to plead in the case, or if he wanted to appeal the sentencing that he might receive.
Yeah, good points. All good points, Madeline. And we know in New Jersey, this is the potential sentence that he faces. Up to 18 months in state prison, up to, I don't think he's going to serve any time, but also a fine of up to $10,000. Also potentially mandatory registration on the state sex offender registry. That's the potential sentence. Of course, I'm sure they've already spoken about it to figure out, the prosecutor as well as his attorney, to figure out what they might agree to, and hope that the judge will sign off on that.